The place was almost hidden. An unmarked building down an unassuming alley in the heart of the city. Only a small neon red sign in the shape of a feathered wing, glowing faintly in the dark, gave away its existence. The door was thick, a matte black slab that seemed to absorb light, and above it, an inscription in ancient script promised rest, rejuvenation, and fulfillment. Upon stepping inside, the reception area was dimly lit, bathed in a warm amber glow that softened every corner and cast long shadows. Aromas of incense, an intoxicating blend of sandalwood, myrrh, and an undertone of something darker, something unfamiliar, yet enticing, hung in the air, curling like silken ribbons through the space. A sleek desk of polished onyx stood at the center, behind which sat a figure with an unnaturally perfect smile and sharp, violet eyes that seemed to glitter in the low light. His skin was smooth, a shade of midnight, almost blending with the darkness around him, and two small horns curled subtly from his temples, framing his face in a way that made him appear both handsome and dangerous.
"Welcome to Equipped Rest,"
he murmured, his voice a velvet purr.
"What brings you to our sanctuary tonight?"
As you scanned the room, other details became clear. The walls were adorned with sensual paintings and delicate carvings of ancient creatures entwined in a dance. Their gazes sultry and knowing. Soft, pulsing music thrummed through the space, a rhythm that seemed to resonate in the chest like a distant, dark heartbeat. The receptionist, whose name tag simply read Dax, handed over a dark, silken pamphlet, embossed with intricate silver letters. Inside were the therapists, each depicted in shadowy yet enticing illustrations. Zane, a towering figure with a faint crimson glow in his eyes. Lorien, whose delicate features belied an aura of irresistible magnetism. And Chaos, who specialized in immersive relaxation techniques.
"Each of our specialists
Dax continued with a mischievous smirk.
is uniquely gifted in helping our clients experience absolute surrender and release. We aim to cater to deeper needs. Whatever you desire, they are more than capable of fulfilling it. And rest assured, satisfaction is guaranteed."
He tilted his head, observing you with a gaze that felt like it penetrated layers.
"Shall I have one of our attendants show you to a room?"
Without waiting for an answer, he clapped his hands, and a figure emerged from the shadows, tall and graceful, with a gaze that promised indulgence of the deepest kind.
"Welcome to our world,"
Dax murmured as he watched you follow into the inviting darkness. The attendant led you down a narrow hallway, lined with thick velvet drapes that muffled every sound, making it feel like you were entering another realm entirely. The flickering sconces on the walls cast a dim, reddish light, illuminating the way just enough to make out the shapes of ornate doors. Each door had a symbol carved into its surface, arcane runes, whispered to belonged to an ancient tongue used by spirits and fiends alike. The symbols seemed to shift slightly under the soft light, as though alive and waiting. You stopped in front of a door marked with a swirling, intricate sigil resembling a twisted flame surrounded by thorned vines. The attendant, his expression enigmatic yet inviting, gestured for you to enter. As you stepped through, the air seemed thick and rich with the intoxicating scent of exotic flowers mixed with the faintest hint of copper. The room was dimly lit by floating orbs that cast a silken glow over everything, illuminating the lush red and black tapestries on the walls. Embroidered with strange hypnotic patterns in the center of the room was a luxurious, velvet-padded massage table, draped in sheets as dark as midnight, plush cushions, silken throws, and incense braziers gave the space a luxurious feel, and the atmosphere thrummed with an energy that seemed to beckon you forward. And then, from the shadows, emerged Zane, the attendant you had chosen. His form was striking, towering, and imposing, yet his movements were graceful, deliberate, almost predatory. His eyes glowed faintly with a hue reminiscent of molten metal, intense and captivating, framed by high cheekbones and a slight smirk that hinted at countless secrets.
"Welcome,"
he murmured, his voice deep and smooth, filled with an unspoken promise.
"You can call me Zane. My only goal tonight is to ease your tension and help you reach deeper states of release."
His words lingered, charged with more than a simple promise of relaxation. He gestured towards the massage table, watching with that same smirk as you settled yourself onto it. The cool silk against your skin a surprising contrast to the warmth radiating from Zane's presence. As his hands began to work, they felt impossibly warm, and a shiver ran through you as he pressed into your muscles, his fingers gliding with practiced ease, finding every knot of tension, as though he could feel every hidden tightness, every restrained thought. Zane's voice was a low whisper that felt as if it were brushing against your skin.
"You're tense,"
he murmured, his fingers working deeper and deeper.
"Let go. Let me take control of everything. Your thoughts, your breath, every part of you."
His touch grew firmer, his hands tracing slow circles that sent waves of warmth through you. The pressure was perfect, every stroke releasing layers of tension you hadn't realized you were carrying. There was a gentle crackling in the air, as if Zane's touch was sparking some forbidden energy within the room. You could feel the energy building, filling the space, drawing out every ounce of stress until it felt like only you and Zane remained, suspended in this realm of dark velvet and smouldering whispers. He leaned closer, his breath warm against your ear as he whispered,
"You have no need to hold back here. Surrender to this place, to the sensations I'm giving you."
His fingers traced along your spine, trailing heat that left a tingling sensation in their wake, and it felt like he was pulling every thought, every ounce of control from your very being, leaving you vulnerable and open. The energy between you thickened. Each stroke of his hand sending shivers across your skin, each murmur pulling you deeper and deeper into a world where he was the only anchor. You felt his fingers press, glide, explore, unlocking tension and unraveling thoughts until the boundaries of the room itself felt as though they were slipping away, leaving only Zane's hands, his smirk, his whispered promises of release and indulgence. And in that moment, as the last strands of resistance melted, you realized you'd been transported into something else entirely, somewhere beyond mere relaxation. Here in this realm of darkness and whispers, you were entirely his. As Zane's hands continued their slow, hypnotic dance over your skin, the world outside the room seemed to vanish completely, dissolving into a hazy dreamscape where only his touch existed. His fingers kneaded into your muscles, deft and commanding, coaxing out each knot with a precision that felt uncanny, as if he could reach directly into your thoughts and find each hidden tension, each buried memory, and draw it out with just the right amount of pressure. The air grew denser, tinged with a hint of ozone and a faint hum that vibrated through your bones as though the room itself were alive, echoing with an energy older than time. Zane's voice drifted around you, low and melodic, his words blurring the line between encouragement and incantation.
There's no need to hold on to anything here,
he murmured.
Whatever burdens you brought, leave them behind tonight. They belong to me.
You felt yourself singing, deeper and deeper, sinking as his hands continued to weave their spell over your body. Each touch left a lingering warmth, a glow that spread through you and seeped into every cell, erasing the last fragments of resistance. Zane's eyes, golden and unyielding, held a knowing look as he studied your face, tracing each reaction with a satisfaction that felt ancient and primal. With a wave of his hand, he conjured a faint glow around the massage table, a circle of light that thrummed with a pulse of its own, synchronizing with your heartbeat, amplifying it. The warmth from his hands deepened, almost burning, yet somehow pleasant, as if he were pouring some forbidden essence directly into your veins, fusing with your very soul.
Good.
He purred, his tone like velvet.
You're ready for the next step.
The lights dimmed further, plunging the room into a near darkness that heightened every sensation, every sound, every whisper. His fingers slipped the nape of your neck, pressing firmly, releasing a surge of heat that washed through your entire body. The heat carried a pull, a gravitational force that anchored you to the table and yet made you feel as though you were floating, untethered, drifting into a place where nothing existed but the endless, seductive rhythm of his touch.
Let me in deeper.
His breath warm against your skin, and in that moment it felt as though he was speaking not only to your body, but to something hidden within you, something that had been dormant for far too long. And then, as his fingers pressed into the base of your spine, you felt a subtle shift, a sensation as if he had reached beyond the physical, as if he were tracing along the edges of your very spirit. It was both exhilarating and overwhelming, as though he was peeling back layers of yourself that even you had never touched, bringing them to the surface with each motion, with each caress. Your vision blurred, and the room seemed to darken further, dissolving into shadows that danced and twisted with a life of their own. The orbs above dimmed until they were barely visible, leaving only the glow of Zane's eyes, intense and molten, filling your vision, consuming every thought.
You're almost there. You're almost there.
He murmured, his voice echoing as if it were coming from within your own mind.
Let go of everything. Trust me. Trust me to take you where you need to go.
With a final, deep pressure, he placed his hands over your heart, and a surge of energy pulsed through you, a feeling so powerful that it blurred the line between pleasure and pain. A sensation so intense it felt like a release from everything you had ever held on to. In that moment, you felt yourself unravel, every layer, every guard, every pretense falling away, leaving you bare, open, and completely surrendered to his power. And as the final wave of release swept over you, Zane leaned close, his eyes never leaving yours, his voice a deep, resonant whisper.
You belong to this moment now, and it in turn belongs to me.
When you finally resurfaced, feeling weightless and utterly drained, Zane's hands pulled back slowly, his gaze softening, though a trace of that predatory smirk lingered. He studied you with a satisfied gleam, as if he'd unlocked a piece of you that no one else had ever touched.
Tonight was just the beginning,
he murmured as he stepped back, folding his arms across his chest.
You now know where to find us whenever you wish to lose yourself once again.
With a final smirk and a nod, Zane left the room, leaving behind a lingering warmth and a whisper of darkness that would stay with you long after you stepped out of Eclipse Rest and back into the waking world. The weight of Zane's presence lingered in the room, the air still charged with an otherworldly energy that pulsed against your skin. Every breath seemed to carry a trace of his touch, an imprint that left you feeling untethered, somewhere between here and a realm that words couldn't quite capture. Slowly, you rose from the table, the silk sheets clinging to your skin, still warm from the intensity of the experience. As you steadied yourself, the shadows in the corner of the room seemed to move, not entirely retreating, but watching, lingering. You felt as though you were being observed, not in a way that was sinister, but by something that felt beyond human comprehension, as if the very walls of the room held secrets waiting to be unlocked. The door creaked open, and there stood Dax, his violet eyes gleaming with a quiet satisfaction. He inclined his head, an unspoken acknowledgement passing between you.
I trust your session with Zane was fulfilling.
His voice was smooth, polite, yet laced with a knowing edge. A faint shiver ran down your spine as you met his gaze. Yes, you replied, the single word barely capturing the depth of what you'd experienced. He offered a faint, almost sly smile, gesturing for you to follow him back through the corridors. As you walked, you noticed subtle differences. The shadows seemed darker, the sconces casting an almost hypnotic glow as if the entire building pulsed with life. A heartbeat thrumming through every wall and every corner. Dak stopped by another doorway, pausing for a moment before looking back at you.
Some clients find they feel different after their sessions here. Lingering effects, visions, dreams that seem too vivid to ignore.
He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper.
If you ever find yourself pulled back here, or if you need assistance processing what you've unlocked tonight, you know where to find us.
He handed you a small black card, its surface etched with the same arcane signature that had marked Zane's door. The symbol shimmered faintly under the light as though alive, its lines twisting in your hand, mesmerizing. Beneath it, in fine, almost ethereal script, were the words, "Return when the shadows call." Dax's smile lingered a moment longer, his eyes searching yours as if to gauge how deeply the night's experience had taken root. Then, with a final nod, he opened the door to the outside. The alley greeted you with its familiar chill, the city's sounds and lights a stark contrast to the warm, cloistered darkness of Eclipse Rest. As you stepped out, the door behind you swung shut without a sound, leaving only the faintest scent of incense on the air. The neon sign above glowed faintly, casting a crimson halo that pulsed like a heartbeat, as though bidding you farewell. Or calling you back. You took a few steps, the cold air sharpening your senses, grounding you, but as you looked back, the door was gone, replaced by a blank, unmarked wall as if the entrance to the massage parlor had never existed. The black card lay cool in your hand, its symbol still shimmering faintly. You slipped it into your pocket, feeling the weight of it against your side. A subtle, constant reminder that what happened within those walls wasn't something that would fade. It was a piece of a new reality, one that now pulsed through your veins.